picture this. You're 14 years old, full of hopes and dreams for the future. But you wake up each morning in a place that is not your home, completely unaware of where you'll rest your head tonight, all because you don't have a place to call home at all. This is a reality for tens and thousands of young Australians like Trent. In 2023, Trent had everything taken away from him when his mother died, which strained his relationship with his dad even more, who was working in the Air Force at the time. With all of this, all of his grandparents were living overseas, so Trent really had no one to turn to. With no money and a small suitcase, Trent was forced to surf from friend's house to friend's house, night after night after night, without having a place to go called crib. Trent is only one of 27,680 young Australians in Australia struggling from homelessness. I'm Paige, Coady, and today I'm here to talk to you about the widespread issues of youth homelessness. Imagine this. You're 16 years old, cycling through friends' couches each night, carrying all of your belongings in a single suitcase. To the outside world, it might look like you're just staying over, but in reality, you are living day by day with no stability, no safety, and no place to call your own. This hidden form of homelessness is the grim reality for countless young Australians, a life that no young person should have to endure. Youth homelessness refers to the people in the age gap between 12 and 24 who are without safe, stable, and adequate housing. Youth homelessness has been going on for far too long, and we must come together as a nation to help fight against it. Starting as early as 1788, when Australia was claimed by the Europeans and Indigenous children were displaced and disturbed from their homes. This is what we now call the stolen generation. The stolen generation was not just a dark chapter in our history. It was a devastating reality for thousands of Aboriginal children torn from their families, torn from their communities, and torn from their culture. Imagine being moved from your home and never seeing your family again. Today, the scars of this trauma remain. Indigenous Australians are overrepresented in every negative statistic, despite only making up 3% of the general population. They make up 30% of our country's total prison rate. There are far fewer to complete Year 12 compared to non-Indigenous students, and they are 12 times more likely to experience homelessness. These aren't just numbers. They are legacies of policies that dehumanise and displaced. How much longer will we let this define the future of Australians and First Nations people? How much longer will Indigenous youth be left without a place to call home? Many people would see a homeless person on the side of the road and automatically assume, well, I'm sure they've done something to get themselves into the situation, or they deserve that. But that could not be further from the truth. The word home is often simply defined as a place where one lives. But for so many more, it means so much more. A space of love, a space of safety, and a space of belonging. What would you think if you saw someone like Trent doing it rough on the streets? The many teenagers, the so-called homes that they flee from are anything but. Domestic violence, abuse, conflict makes staying there dangerous, leaving them with no choice but to seek safety elsewhere. The impacts of youth homelessness are forever lasting, with high school graduation rates at only 68% of homeless youth receiving that cap. Imagine how hard it would be to get through every school day without school books, pens, laptop, a clean uniform, and just other basic things that you use every day. Homelessness causes disruptions to one's learning, with lowering attendance rates and not performing to the best of their ability, as school is not a priority. Instead of carrying books on their backs, they carry the weight of not knowing where they're going to sleep tonight. Physical health massively deteriorates, as homeless teens, most of the time, have no access to healthcare and do not have enough funds to support themselves in sickness or health. Teen social development is stunted due to them being isolated from the rest of their peers, not having anyone to confide in, and not having anybody experiencing what they're experiencing. Being young and homeless takes a devastating toll on your mental health. Studies show that between 48 and 89% of young homeless people have a diagnosable mental health issue. They live with their guard constantly up, no sense of security, and nowhere to go to truly relax or feel safe. As Choke shares, I've been seeing a counsellor and trying to better myself and my mental health. This highlights the immense strength it takes to rebuild when life is taken so much. His journey underscores the importance of addressing both housing and mental health support for young Australians in need. As a young person living in Australia with my amazing parents Nadine and Ross and my little brother Tom, I am so up to have a roof over my head every night, food on the table every day, and never ever having to worry about my safety or security. I feel the absolute need to do something about this issue, as it is not fair how teens like myself are faced with life-changing challenges which alter their future life, taking away employment opportunities, financial stability, and other common life skills. We must come together to help people who need our help the most. I believe that schools like Cronulla High would benefit from running programs on youth homelessness run by professional advocates to educate the affected age group on ways that they can be supported if ever put into the situation of being homeless, and how to help peers experiencing homelessness. We must come together to push the government for increased funds towards housing commissions and housing projects to give homeless people the safety and security they just so desperately need. They need a roof over their heads, and they need a place to finally call home. We must come together to start community involvement with volunteering projects like running homeless shelters to provide healthy and nutritious foods to growing bodies which need to be fueled. We must come together to start planning innovative housing solutions, like the developments of tiny homes or modular housing developments. And construction companies can be in partnership to assist with these plans to come to life. As a community, we have the power to assist people through some of the worst moments of their lives. What if you had everything taken away from you and nobody was fighting to help you? Remember Trent, whose story we began with help from this community and organisations like Foyers Boys Homeless Group. Trent now has a bed, Trent now has electricity, Trent now has running water, and Trent now finally has a place to go called home. Now, I leave you with this. Youth homelessness is not just a statistic. It's a reality that we can change. So, I ask you, not tomorrow, not someday, but today, what will you do to ensure that every young person in Australia has a place to go called home? The future is watching, and it starts with us. Thank you.